What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Today we'll be looking at a series between TyLooJim and TyLooWP. TyLooWP spawning as our pink Terran player over here in the 3 o'clock position of Shattered Temple, and then over here in the 9 o'clock TyLooJim as the red Protoss player. This is going to be a best of series here between TyLooJim and TyLooWP, of which I will refer to Jim and WP from this point forward. And you know what? I am most certain that WP stands for something. Could be well played, could be that basic, could be something else. At the moment, though, I really don't know, so if you guys know what it stands for or how I should be calling him, please let me know in the comments section below. I always love to hear your thoughts and opinions and feedback, unless you're trolling, at which point you can GTFO. Alright, so WP starting off with that wall off, and actually pretty interesting. He's decided to go for that wall off here in this TVP matchup. Very obvious in the fact that he will be attempting to hide some tech as a result. We'll be trying to get that wall off and preventing Jim from actually getting into his base and scouting him out and seeing what he's doing. The other option too is he could be going second deep over here and saving this spot for a bunker. Or even if he does build the racks here initially, he can of course lift that off and use it for a bunker later on, providing some early game defense. Either way, it is evident that WP will be trying to hide whatever he is doing from his opponent Jim. That is certainly the case. Jim now dropping down his gateway, will be moving out with his scouting probe. Firstly moving down into the 6 o'clock position. Upon realizing that Jim isn't there, he should be moving directly to the 9 o'clock. And I'm not sure that actually WP will have his full wall off up. And this will, of course, allow Jim to make it into the main base. But at the early stage of the game, not the biggest deal. The only thing to really tell, the only possible discrepancy that you'll typically see is whether or not there is one or no refinery in TVP. That's basically the only two early game openers that you expect to see. Either seeing a 1 racks, no gas expand, or you will see a refinery. But even then, you can't really tell what's going on. Also, an early tech lab could tip you off to possibly expecting some early marauder pressure. But still, he's really not getting that much intel other than the fact that there's a refinery up is basically what I'm trying to say. Also, Cybernetics Core making his way out for Jim, and there it is, full wall off complete as WP finishes his first Marine, forcing Jim to stay inside of the base, and then we'll be sniping down that probe. Now, we did also notice that he lifted off that racks and came out here with a reactor. Now, is that something that Jim is going to be able to scout out? That'd actually be really good for him if he manages to do so. That Marine with some stutter step micro, making things very difficult for Jim, and sniping down the probe. Is he going to make it, though? Is he going to scout it out? It's going to be very close, and I think he is going to make it. Jim makes it all the way to the front and gets that secondary scout, spotting that reactor. Unfortunately, WP was not able to prevent that from happening as much as he wanted to. And absolutely beautiful there from Jim. Just a little bit of pro micro, allowing him to scout out that reactor. And again, that's important because it lets him know that there are going to be heavy Marines early on. Now, he did not scout a factory, and he saw that reactor. So now he knows to expect heavy Marine, and that might tip him off to the fact that WP is, in fact, expanding. This is a 1 racks expand with a reactor for double Marine early on. And we may be seeing a factory almost immediately after that as well. That is quite possible as he is starting to pull up quite a bit of Vespene gas. And what is he moving out with? There it is, moving out with double racks. Okay, so no factory. Then that is tipping me off to the fact that he will be coming up with some upgrades here for his bio. As soon as these racks finish here, we should be seeing some tech lab action and getting some upgrades early on. That's the only reason possibly he would be pulling this much Vespene early on. Because again, he still does have 3 guys mining from that refinery. So, some tech labs here and some upgrades are what am I expecting from WP. Back over here inside of the main base of Jim. WP moving in with a secondary scout. Will be spotting the robo and that second gateway. Moving back here looking for any possible hidden tech or any additional gateways. The SCV, of course, will be finally taken out as that sentry manages to catch up just barely and snipe him down. And there you go. Sentry heavy. We got an expand build coming here with the 2 racks and a robo. Robotics will be starting out with an observer and heading immediately towards WP's base. WP starting off here with these Marines, and there it is. The Ghost Academy is what we're seeing, so that is why there was all that pooled Vespene. 2 tech labs getting dropped down. Very early Ghost here from WP. Now, again, this will be scouted out here from Jim as Jim's moving his way across the map right now with this observer scout. He's already got center of the map control there with that Stalker, and he has this Expo up. So sitting in a fairly decent position. Now WP will be getting that expansion down and mining a little bit earlier than Jim will be. And we'll have to see how Jim responds upon seeing these early ghosts. Ghost can be so devastating in this matchup, of course. EMP being so very strong, being able to deplete all the shields there of your Protoss army, especially with the proper spread if you have enough Ghost. Now the only concern is that we want to make sure that WP doesn't go too Ghost heavy. Getting too many Ghosts early on, of course, means that you're going to be lacking Marauders, and the Marauder is kind of the backbone unit here in this matchup in TVP. Marauder is so strong versus that Gateway army, so he does need to make sure that he gets a fair amount of those as well, not just relying on Ghost early on. Getting a few Ghosts good, getting too many Ghosts early on could really hurt you. Alright, TyLooJim back over here is coming out with some Immortals. Also getting another Gateway. This is going to put him at a total of 3 Gateways and a Robo here. And again, we can see that expansion is up and mining at the moment. Observer Scout fully aware of absolutely everything. Yes, he is. He saw the Ghost Academy. He's fully aware of what's going on. Very likely, too, that he obviously saw those 2 Ghosts that are already out. Now, those Ghosts for WP will be accumulating some energy. We are seeing those Marauders come out, and that is very good indeed. That is what I was hoping WP would do. Get out 2 and maybe get another 2 sometime a little later down the road. But he does want to make sure that he's got the bulk of his force there with Marauders and Marines. Do we have any upgrades coming out there? Not much. We do have another Axe coming out, still continuously delaying that factory tech as he's spending so much of his Vespene here on these early game Marauders and Ghosts. And we may very well be seeing a timing push from him with EMP. And here it comes. Time push moving out right now for WP. He's got a lot of SCVs prepared to move with his army. Now, this is something that Jim is fully aware of. We'll be spreading out his sentries. Wants to make sure he cuts back on as much of that EMP damage as possible. 3 Immortals already. He's coming out with another Immortal. And let's see how he manages to hold up against this. Another sentry coming out, and watch him spread this out because he knows he's up against the Ghost. And aware of that, I don't know, it's going to be real tough. It's going to come down to the force fields, in all honesty. That will determine how this battle is going to go. There are the EMPs. Already that force field wall on the Zealots to catch up. Sentries helping quite a bit as well. And that force field wall pulling back a lot of those Marines and Marauders basically out of range of the bulk of that sentry force. And that was perfect there from Jim as he just shreds through the forces here of WP. One Marauder trying to chase down those weekend sentries, but unable to break them. And there you go, Jim with that beautiful defense. Should be moving out with a counterattack. Does have a proxy pylon right now, and will be prepared to push out and try to warp in right next to the action. So here it comes right now. Immortal heavy still. He will be recharging those shields and making his way across the map. Back at home, not a whole lot of action going on. He got a few more gateways there before that push. Now sitting on a total of 6 gateways, and this is going to be very, very concerning here for WP. In fact, he can see he's coming out with an additional bunker to try to defend himself. Another pylon getting placed here, allowing Jim to warp in on this side, much closer to the action rather than just warping in here. And this is really scary right now for WP. He's going to need some mass repairs there on those SCVs to be able to defend against this. His major concern, though, is that the longer those sentries wait, the more energy they have. And here we go, preemptively pulling down with those SCVs. We got lots of Zealots in the mix. Guardian Shield going down, helping soften up all the damage that those Marines and Marauders are doing. And there are the force field walls. Those bunkers get dropped almost immediately. And Jim tearing through these defenses here. WP is about to be forced to call the GG. There it is, WP calling the GG. Jim with that beautiful counterattack. Force field placement and unit positioning won the game here for TyLooJim. We saw a beautiful force field wall, also keeping his sentries out of the range of most of the threat there. It was just absolutely perfectly played there by Jim. WP's early game ghost push unfortunately failed, led to Jim's counterattack in the eventual GG. Alright guys, Jim winning game number 1 here between Jim and WP. We'll be moving on to game number 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.